Oh, let me adjust the lighting because I had it really good.
Hello, I'm Jacob Peterson, and this is the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Today is Tactical Tuesday. This is Jimbo, the conspiracy dog. Anyways, we're going to talk once again about the Parkland shooting. Real quick before we do so, this channel's funded solely through sales on my website, beachandtactical.com, where I hand make some of the finest tactical and survival gear on the planet. It's also funded through brand ambassadorship through Grunt Style, who makes cool Patriot clothing with lifetime guarantees, and through Patreon. You can also directly sponsor this channel. All of those links will be in the description box below. Now, I got some interesting comments from the last YouTube video from people who were anywhere from skeptic to angry, making up some pretty interesting claims to refute the fact that there was anything wrong with the story we've been given about the Parkland shooting, whether it be crisis actors or anything else. And there's a reason that these people, no matter how much proof or even things to think about you get them, there's a reason that they could never even consider that anything except for the exact narrative that they've been given is true. There's a reason why, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the video, but let's start out with what we can see that went wrong. This female was interviewed after the shooting, and she had direct contact with Nicholas Cruz. Let's watch that.
I actually was in the bathroom at the moment, and I came back to my classroom and I knocked on the door, and the fire alarm went off, and principal came on the speaker and just said everyone needs to evacuate right now. So that's what we did. As I was going down the stairs, I heard a couple shots fired. Everyone was freaking out, saying that it was a gun. And as we were walking, the whole class together, I actually was speaking to the suspect, Nicholas Cruz. And as I was speaking to him, he seemed very, I don't know what the word I want to say is, but he was trouble in middle school. So I kind of joked to him about it and said, I'm surprised you weren't the one who did it. And he just gave me a huh. So that's really what happened.
You were walking down the hall. He had already fired at that time.
Yes, sir, with him.
Weren't you scared?
In the moment I wasn't, because there was obviously definitely another shooter involved, but...
Oh, you think he was not the only one?
No, definitely not.
Why do you say that?
Because when shots were fired, I saw him after the fact. So, and the shots were coming from the other part of the building. So there definitely had to be two shooters involved, I believe.
That's the first I've heard of that. Did you see any other students who were wounded?
No, sir.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
What you saw there was essentially a person who was with Nicholas Cruz stating that the shooting was on the other side of the school, and she had direct contact with Nicholas Cruz after the fact. Now, that's not necessarily to say that Nicholas Cruz could not have been at least one of the shooters, but we know for a fact, if this footage can be trusted, which seems to be more reputable than anything else we've been given on this story, that he wasn't the only shooter. We know for a fact that something is awry. We also have testimony from one of the teachers who was shot. Let's watch that.
My door, and then kids just started pouring in my room. I don't know how many kids were in there, but I was pulling them and getting them in and shouting at them to get in the room. And then I suddenly saw the shooter about 20 feet from me, standing at the end of the hallway, actively shooting down the hallway, just a barrage of bullets. And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before. I don't know when I decided it was the right time to close the door. I grabbed the handle with both hands, and that's when I got nicked, or grazed, or whatever you call it.
So a bullet hit your arm.
Now, what you saw here is a teacher, and normally I would not give a teacher any credibility when it came to identifying anything. But a few key things that she noticed. She said that the shooter was wearing full body armor, including a helmet and face mask. None of that has been revealed for Nicholas Cruz, and although I might be able to understand someone mixing up possibly body armor with something else that didn't happen, it's impossible for anyone of any education to believe that a child not wearing a helmet is a person wearing full body armor, a helmet, and a face mask. That's very, it's very descriptive and very hard to mess up. Also, she said he was shooting a type of rifle that she'd never seen before. Now, what strikes me about that is that thanks to our media, everybody has seen an AR-15 and pretty much knows what it looks like. And if anything basically looks a little bit scary, they'll also say that's an AR-15, but she didn't. She said it was something that she had never seen before, which infers that she has seen firearms before. And you can't say with any kind of reliability that would mean it's not an AR-15, but it certainly could hint to that that reality. So we've got problems here. By the way, this is Ruger. He's not the conspiracy dog. He's the brains of the operation, in case anybody was wondering. But so we have allegations of the sheriffs outside who were told to cordon the area, who were told by their captain to stand down. I've got that information from Fox News, who we already know is a load of horse crap, so I wouldn't put that as being reputable. But as you may see from my interview earlier, which I'll throw a link up here, where I interviewed Sheriff Doyle of Edmonson County, no police officers are trained to do that anywhere in America. In fact, that's the opposite of their training, regardless of any word from higher command. So now we have a problem in consistency in the actions of law enforcement. We have a potential second shooter, or potentially Nicholas Cruz being a scapegoat. At this point, if you're not at least asking questions, you simply cannot accept any other reality than what's given to you. And I said I was going to talk about this earlier. The reason why is that if people believe that they are being lied to by their government, that means they have a responsibility personally to try to understand why. And all of a sudden, they can't believe anything that they've gotten from their government. And they have a responsibility to do something about it. If you don't believe that your whole world is just honky-dory and everything's exactly as it's been given to you, and you have to start asking questions about what you do or don't believe, that's not comfortable to people. So no matter how stupid the story is, and no matter how much evidence is pointing to it being false, there's a very large percentage of our population who will never believe it, because it could mean them giving up their little creature comforts that they already enjoy. They're already people who have no desire to defend themselves and would rather believe the illusion that somebody else will take that responsibility. They would rather than taking responsibility for defending themselves and buying a firearm and getting training, try to take firearms from someone else, even though it makes absolutely no sense and they know that it's not a possibility. These are the kind of people who will do anything to live an easy, lazy, stupid lifestyle, because they are stupid people. So what does that say to anybody who can ask questions about what's going on? These useful idiots are why corruption and why these problems exist, because they empower the enemy. Anyways, the Parkland shooting is another shooting that just does not add up. the ultimate problem. If you had seen my True Colors of Trump video before I deleted it back in the primaries before the election, I said that old Trump would be the head of orchestrating some of these school shootings and some of this BS to start implementing gun control. Because if you believe that there is corruption, things are lies, they have to come from your federal government. If they come from your federal government, they have to come from the top. There has to be an agenda and a reason. These same people who were talking about being stupid earlier, who couldn't possibly accept that reality, are the same people who say, what could that reason be? And yet it should be clear if you look around at the society around you. Look what people are talking about and look at these stupid people who can't believe that it's not real. You see the end goal from years of propaganda and indoctrination. The continuation of that is the goal. The end state should be clear. Exactly what happened, I don't think I or most people will ever know. Exactly when we'll get there or how things will work, I don't know. I'm not here necessarily to give answers, but instead to pose questions, because too many people try getting wrapped up into finding answers that will never be found by us, and they get off track of what they need to be doing. Sadly, people stopped prepping when Trump got elected. When people stop prepping, that's when you need to prep the most. Don't worry about the answer. Worry about asking the questions.
He's
Keep
looking
on
like
prepping.
he's ferocious.
Yeah, I'm just going to use this footage. So,
I know, I'm sorry.
yeah, you should be. I'm just kidding.
Do you see how ferocious he is, guys?
He's a monster.
He's like growling at something.
You're a beast. He sees the government.
I couldn't help it.
He sees Big Brother out there. That's what it is. Told
Jim-
you it's the brains.
Jimbo does too. Jimbo's the scout.
Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you think you've got the answers, you can illuminate the rest of us. If you've got more things that pose questions, let me know. Please subscribe, please share the video, and please check the links below. Beach and Tactical puts food on the table. Patreon allows me to do cool things on this channel, and the brand ambassadorship with Grunt Style gives me a couple bucks and the potential to get some clothing as well, because clearly I don't often buy clothing. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a blessed day.